Samantha. And we're live. Well, you and I both should.
Good afternoon, Commissioner. We're live.
Good afternoon, everybody. Shall I call the meeting then? We have everybody? Great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for making time for us, and for those in the public who are joining us, thank you for joining us. We'll start with a meeting as typical of the Public Campaign Finance Board. It will be a unit report. I have only the short job of framing the public report, the unit report for co-director Cheryl Kauser, who will lead it. I just want to touch on two things.
Commissioner, I hate to do this again, but the first item is the minutes, right?
Sorry, yes. You would think after all this time. The first item is indeed the approval of the minutes from the last meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none opposed, the motion carries. Right. Have I missed anything else on my agenda?
No, you're all good.
With apologies, as I was saying, I want to highlight just two things, two main things that of the work of the Public Campaign Finance Board. The first is going to be the thing that takes up the bulk of this meeting, which is our focus on the regulations that have been promulgated. As you all know, promulgating regulations, especially for this new agency, is really hard work. It includes not just meeting our statutory demands in these regulations, but also circulating them for public comment, bringing in stakeholders on all sides of the aisle with broad views, and addressing painstakingly their comments, suggestions, and critiques. This work has been led by the two councils. Nick Cartagena, I think, if memory serves, Nick is on vacation. Is that correct?
Correct.
So a well-deserved vacation from, which is part of the point of what I'm saying, and his colleague Logan, our Republican counterpart. Not only have they worked really, really hard to promulgate these regulations about what you'll hear, but I also want to highlight the really bipartisan spirit and goodwill, good faith with which they have both worked together, agreed, and in fact disagreed. And I think they deserve a ton of credit for that. The second thing, which is almost fun to the extent public campaign finance can be fun feature, has been the launching of the new website. So I'll let Cheryl highlight that, but I encourage you all to take a moment to look around the new website. Not only is it informative, clear, but it's visually much crisper. And I think it'll be a real service to candidates and the general public as well. The overall comment here is this team has been working nonstop under great time pressure to make this program an outstanding one, a leader in the country, and they deserve a tremendous amount of credit for that. Co-Director Kauser, unless I've missed something, have I missed something?
No, thank you. And thank you for those kind words.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. This is an overview of our activities since our May 2nd, 2022 meeting. As Commissioner Yanka mentioned, our website went live on July 6th, 2022. Since then, we had 3,440 page views from 1,110 unique visitors. That was from July 6th through July 31st. And I'll periodically provide those metrics and other metrics as we have them going forward. Content to that website will be added regarding the program on November 9th, 2022. Regarding our outreach efforts, we had collaborated with the Brennan Center to film a social media piece featuring our chair and our vice chair to educate the public about the upcoming launch of the program. Editing is happening, and we hope to see that soon. We're beginning to plan our future outreach events ahead of the launch to do outreach to our existing committees via social media, the public, and to new people who might be interested in running. In doing so, we met with the OGS Creative Services team to talk about content creation for social media sites and flat pieces and even digital pieces on YouTube, and what we can do with limited means, but to really geographically get diverse across the state and again, reach a lot of different stakeholders. We met with Citizens Action and Act Blue to provide an update. Both of those entities reached out to us. Council presented the draft regulation report to the New York City Bar Association in July. And in September, I hope to have the first meeting of our external working group to provide them with an update on our program. In terms of implementation, current state board computer systems known as FIDUS, that's financial management, and the electronic filing software have been updated. ITU updated the FIDUS system to create a new committee type for PCSB candidates. In addition, the EFS filing software was updated to capture additional disclosure fields needed to go into the public campaign finance program. Additional fields for the receipt of public funds and the spending of public funds will be added and tested, and this is all before the launch. Those systems are not in place right now to be used, but they will be on November 9th. Training is working on website content, material by office, and the handbook. We created primers for marketing materials by office that include eligibility punch lists to guide a party on what they have to do and when. The handbook session started with training and council. All of these materials, including our registration form and application, are undergoing usability testing. Audit and training completed intake and auditing procedures and materials, including management reporting and tracking statistics. Those are being tested now. And then we created small details like the physical space for intake and procedure and handling and internal controls. Enforcement, likewise, is developing procedures and physical space for implementation. Coming up soon, we are also training staff. We had training in June we decided to partner with the New York City Campaign Finance Board. They offered their trainings to us, so we could see from the training perspective how they present the material and then how their compliance activities work. Likewise, our staff is receiving 2 days of training Excel in August and September. Regarding space planning, we met August 2nd with the space planning group, and the 5th floor renovation will start March 2023. So we're moving forward there. In terms of program management, the statement of work for the RFP went to the Office of General Services in the end of March. For the software procurement, we've been working consistently with OGS, having lately as of 2 meetings a week. They're going through their last legal review. We have a walkthrough, and we're hoping for that RFP to hit the street soon. That's my update for this month. And in your packets, we had information on the open meetings law for a future conversation and discussion of the board. And regarding the open meetings law, Chapter 56 of the laws of 2022 amended Section 103 of the open meetings law. Section 103A permits the PCSB to authorize its commissioners to attend meetings by video conferencing from non-public locations under extraordinary circumstances. It requires the board to adopt a resolution following a public hearing to limit the use of video conference under such circumstances. Commissioners attending by video conference must be heard, seen, and identified while the meeting is conducted. The public must be permitted to attend and participate. And in your board packet is a draft procedure, resolution, and memorandum of law for your consideration and discussion at a later date. We'd have to pick that up as an item at a future board meeting. I don't know if you have any questions on the open meetings law.
I guess I just have a question about process. So you're saying we're going to consider this, because I know I have something in my pack where I consider this later? Is that what you're suggesting?
Well, the board, the Public Campaign Finance Board, I know the state board under the same circumstances, would have to hold a public hearing before adopting a procedure. So that is the next step that would have to occur. So that could be discussed and we can be informed on how you would like that.
Do we have a time frame within which we have to do this?
I would say, I don't know if there's a specific time frame set in law, but maybe at the next meeting.
Well, the law is under suspension right now because of the current executive order suspending the law pending the current COVID crisis. But as soon as that ends, then the law would go into effect. So it was just extended for another month. So, you know, the sooner we can adopt that, you know, because it could end next month. So we should plan if we can, probably sometime between now and whatever our next scheduled meeting is, to hold the public hearing. You know, we would suggest, as the Committee on Open Government did, where they delegated it to the staff to hold the hearing, invite the comments, write a report, and then present it back to their case of the committee. Nobody attended their meeting, so it was rather a short report, but I think that would be the most logical way. So we could then, you know, we would do it virtually. We'd have staff here and post it on our website, and then we would conduct that and try to get back whenever your next meeting is, which we don't have a date for yet. So we would try to do it. We would plan to do it prior to that, so that all that could be brought back to you for a final determination. So we would just kind of be looking for consensus on the model for how we're doing the public hearing. And if we get a date for the next meeting, then we can schedule accordingly to have everything completed before then.
What we have in our packet is a draft proposal that staff put together.
It is.
Is that the subject of the public hearing?
It would be, yes. We'd want to put that, to have people comment on that. Because otherwise they don't know what, you know, they're just going to comment. Do we need her?
Do we need to take any action here to authorize the staff to do this now?
I think a consensus would be sufficient.
I think that's fine.
Let's move forward.
I'm good.
I'm good.
Okay, so we can put that together before your next meeting.
And whatever that is, we'll work accordingly to the date.
Commissioner, that's the end of my unit report, which would take us to, I believe, new business, or there is no old business. But so it would take us to new business, which is the adoption of our regulations. And I would turn it over to Logan Smith.
Thanks, Cheryl. The resolution, new business 22-03, the proposed resolution is in relation to the adoption of regulations. The draft regulations that we are going to consider were initially published in accordance with SAP of the State Administrative Procedure Act in the fall and winter of 2001. They were put out for public comment at that time. We received then in excess of 200 comments relating to the draft regulations. As a result, and in response to those comments, we undertook a review and made a number of revisions to the draft regulations. Staff also compiled a separate report, specifically discussing and listing out the comments and responses to each one. That was posted publicly on our website and made widely available. It's still there. And on May 2nd of this year, the board voted on a resolution authorizing the issuance of a notice of revised proposed rulemaking relating to the changes we made to those draft regulations, which allowed for the republication for an additional comment period. That comment period has recently ended for all three portions of the draft regulations, and we've received much more limited comments. 5 entities commented this time. Generally, positive comments all around, and we followed a similar practice this time. We compiled another report detailing the comments we received and responses there too. That is in your packet, and it's also going to be posted on our website. I also included a layout of the changes we made, so you can see there was a handful of them. They were non-substantive in nature. They didn't change any substantive portion of the regulations. They were there was a number of them, but they weren't drastic changes. The resolution here would serve to adopt those regulations and authorize council, TCFB council, to file a notice of adoption with the Department of State and any other necessary documentation. Upon that time, these regulations would become effective once published in the state register. Figured if there's any questions you had on that, I just wanted to outline the process and where we are.
Logan, I just want to compliment you and Nick Cartagena for the very thorough and excellent work that you've done. And in particular, I've gotten a lot of positive feedback from the election legal community that practice before the City Campaign Finance Board. And of course, they generated a lot of the comments that you reviewed. And the reaction is overwhelmingly positive, that especially the efforts that you and Nick made to engage with the various communities that would be affected and have to deal with these regulations. So I want to thank you for what I think was an excellent job.
I appreciate that, Commissioner, but I would be remiss if I didn't include Ryan Connor did a lot of work. It was definitely a team effort. Bill McCann participated as well, so it was really a team effort with everybody, but thank you very much.
Well, to all of your team, thank you. And with that, I move the adoption of the resolution.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Well, let me say that thank you once more. I tried to sing the praises, but Logan, you were right that I should have included the whole team. And I have heard just, from the way the sausage is made, I've gotten to hear how much collegiality and professionalism and good conscience has gone into this. So my thanks was in name to Logan and Nick, but really, it really meant to include everybody. Thank you all for your work on this. With that, excuse me, I'm flipping between two screens. So is there any other new business?
No, there's not.
I did not.
And we don't have a need for executive session either.
Good.
What about the next board meeting, sure?
Exactly.
We would have to set the next board meeting date. The next action item would be the adoption of the open meetings law policy at a future date. And then the other action item for this year that we have so far would be the budget, which is in December.
So October? Do we need to set it now?
No,
Wait
we don't
till
have to.
September and then.
Yes, we could do it later.
So I move that we adjourn.
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't quite hear, but did we decide to set the meeting date a little later by email?
Yes.
Yes.
Very good.
And we're talking probably October.
Makes sense to me. Yes, in that case, yeah, there was a motion to adjourn. Any second?
Second.
Unless anybody wants to hear me sing? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Let me thank everybody once again, and the leadership team in particular. Thank you, and I think we'll turn it over to the full board for the regular BOE meeting. Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Well,